Ticket.
We started 2015.
That's good in 2 movies.
Yep.
I suppose. Except the third Indiana Jones movie is not that great.
Except
No.
Wow.
I mean, there's parts of it that are great.
I mean, it's fine.
It's better
not
than
that great.
better than Crystal Skull.
Well, let's not speak of the dead.
Yeah, is that even a thing? I mean, we don't even count that as a thing, right?
I don't know. Do we count Godfather 3?
No.
I do, actually.
You do. God,
Oh my God.
That's because he's young. He doesn't know any better.
All right.
Speaking of knowing better, going back to the whole John's a German train conductor, the word for ticket in German is Fahrkarte.
Sure.
Okay, I'll
But
believe that.
it sounds like it's like the weirdest combination of like maybe sounding like fuck and fart at the same time. And it's just, I'm listening to the Google Translate.
Are you attempting to say that's why they didn't have him speak in German in the movie?
Perhaps.
No ticket.
Fahrkarte.
No Fahrkarte.
Das Fahrkarte. Das Fahrkarte, Liebchen.
You know what's nice? We can make fun of white people all we want, and we'll never get in trouble in 20 years.
No, for 20 years.
I don't know. You know,
I don't know about
how
that.
things go.
Yeah,
We won't ever have to worry about
down.
this podcast surfacing when one of us is the Prime Minister of Canada.
Oh.
God.
Why
You know,
can't
Why can't? Why? Because it's the
because you
easiest.
haven't. No, because of Justin Trudeau's whole like scandal that he's been apparently in the early,
Do you guys
basically
live under
college
a
years.
rock?
Wait, something
He
happened?
did black. Yeah,
Yeah.
he
No, I
did
remember that.
blackface and
Brownface.
brownface a lot
Yeah.
to the point where he's not even admitting how many pictures could be out
Because
there.
he's like, I don't know how many there's going to be.
Wait,
Yeah, you
like
can't admit it. If you don't
like-
know the answer.
in
like-
a manner most foul, or like because he was really into weird acting or comedy, or just was-
No, and
Maybe he was
because
into scat.
No, he was like, it was like, no, it was like parties, like dress up parties, like
Yeah.
costume parties. He'd always
So it
go
reminds
like,
me of the South Park where
he's always going
Randy
like
is
an Arabian
desperately
guy.
trying to delete the picture of him dressed up as Christopher Columbus,
Mhm.
and in the process of which he, in his Christopher Columbus costume, ends up beating up a Native American, and a guy takes a picture of it, creating a new thing he's
Yes.
trying to get rid of.
Yes.
Oh my god!
That's basically
That's so
Justin
great.
Trudeau right now. I can't believe you guys
Dear
don't
God.
know this. I can't believe that reference was totally lost
I-
on you. That pisses
I
me
did
off.
heard of it like
I made an
it
amazing
sounds
reference.
vaguely familiar
I
now,
even
but
set
I
it
guess I
up.
just didn't
I
pay
even
attention.
set it up with the whole German thing and not having to worry about making fun of white people, and then you two ruined it by being like, I don't know, not on
Ignorant.
the internet today. What the fuck?
I know his name's been coming up lately, but I didn't know why.
I know you were on the internet today. I was talking to you on the internet.
I know, but I
One
wasn't
part
looking.
of the internet, not the whole internet.
Facebook. It was all over Facebook.
I don't.
I was too busy looking at
anything
me.
with- Yeah,
There's plenty of
I
memes
was
about
looking
this.
at a variety of memes that someone here was producing.
Yeah,
Well,
which you'd
okay,
be equally as offended of, by the
those-
way,
those were
if we didn't
quali-
see
those.
those.
Those were quality memes. That's fine.
So if you were caught doing that, let's just for hypothetical, would you?
Wait,
would you
which one of us white men are you talking about today?
Yeah.
Whoever. It's just a general question.
Sure, in general.
Would you admit to being into scat or into, or rather being in blackface, brownface?
No, I think I would literally just do what he did, which is, yeah, I used to do this at costume parties. No, I don't have any idea how many pictures there are.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, you might as well just tell
I'm
the
embarrassed
truth.
by my past behavior.
Right.
All right.
I'm embarrassed by my past behavior, but you know what? I have no idea how many pictures there are.
And then just pray your current approval ratings save you.
And then you can always turn around and be like, but my policies are nowhere near as bad as the guy to the south.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's just take all things considered here.
Yeah. By the way, you see this Trump guy? You hear this? You heard about this?
I didn't name anybody. Well, you didn't name people. We're not naming
Yeah,
people
seriously,
here.
we're not.
Now the
we're
FBI
not-
is listening. And
Well,
the
I wanted to
NSA
make it clear you weren't talking about anybody further south.
and the
because then it
GOP
could
is
be
listening. I
even
already
more
have an
racist.
FBI file because I was a liberal in college.
Oh, that's
Okay,
a new one.
Nixon.
Too.
I think that's a little much to suggest that you have your special file because you said some things in a bar in college. And
No, it's
maybe
because
on
I
like
used to
two
go
papers.
lobbying for student issues in Washington, D.C. and Sacramento.
Oh yeah, they don't care about you.
I don't know. You never know. We got John
Was
Kerry
Ki-
to come
was-
talk at PCC.
Was tear gas involved?
No,
Then they don't care about you.
it was during.
How about
It was during the Patriot Act era. Mr. Tom, who's too young to understand what we're talking about.
Mhm.
what's a patriot? Is that in that movie with Mel Gibson?
That's right. Yes, that act. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to count us
go.
down because we're 5
Oh, yeah.
minutes into the show and haven't done anything.
Are we live?
We've
there
been
people?
live for 5 minutes. So I'm going to count us down, and Adam, you can do your thing, okay?
Okay, I gotta
4,
look at show notes.
3, 2, 1. Adam, you're on.
You wrote the show notes.
I still have to look at them.
Dude, I already switched to your screen. You're supposed to be saying hello, everybody.
I just calm down.
No.
Hello, everybody.
You're not the boss of me.
Welcome to TFG Radio.
That doesn't.
Thanks,
That still
Adam.
doesn't count. That still doesn't count. We only have 7 people. Where's our 50,000, John? You promised
You
50,000.
multiply the 7 by 10,000.
That's
That's 70,000 viewers.
All right, we're going to.
It's just weird when they all disconnect at once. That's what freaks me.
going to-
They're all
it's a
about
ma-
to disconnect because I counted down and went to Adam's screen and he didn't do anything.
Look at it. Went up while I talked. See? Look at that. Boom.
If people know what they want.
Yes.
Latin Gandalf.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of TFG Radio. Full house today. We have John
Hi.
on the wheels of steel, as always. Look at him. All happy to be here. Memeing away. Toiling in the meme dungeons.
Fresh off the recreational fields of recreating.
Danny's with us, as always.
Yeah. Hey. Before Tom
And
interrupts
Tom.
me.
Oh my God, Jesus!
I'm actually going to keep track this episode.
All right, fine.
And we have Tom,
Meh.
who's now quiet all of a sudden.
I've already broken his spirit. Excellent.
I have nothing to prove.
Oh, man. All right. We had the London GT this weekend.
We
Yeah,
did.
I put it down. You just didn't put it in the show notes because you're a jerk and don't listen to me.
Where'd you put that down? I don't remember.
In the notes on the actual like Twitch title. The Twitch title says we have the whole crew here tonight discussing LGTs and crazy Marines and Salamanders.
I don't see it in the show notes. I don't look at the
Right.
title. I look at the show notes.
God. This is the
I
worst-
specifically gave you guys the
this is
link to the show
worst
notes
40K
to put
podcast.
show notes into.
Celebrating
Hey,
5
nobody-
years of being terrible.
Yeah, celebrating 5 years. But at least
It's 4.5. The Facebook page is live for 5 years. We didn't actually do the first
Yeah.
episode until February.
But at least the people don't have to pay for this.
It's free. So
are
you get
free
what
to
you
not
pay
listen.
for.
You are
They
free to
just-
stop listening at any moment, and it's not behind a paywall, so you don't have to feel like, well, I have to listen to this now because I fucking paid for it already.
They have to pay with the fleeting time that is their lives.
There is that. You pay with the time.
Yeah.
But you're not double billed with time and money. Just time.
Actually, when you put it that way, a bunch of that rips off. Jeez.
And you can't get either back.
Good Lord.
No refunds.
No refunds.
No
No
refunds.
refunds on your time.
Nope. I'm pretty sure that's what you're going to hear when you get to the pearly gates, too.
I
Yeah.
have full expectations where I'm going.
Yeah.
So there's no surprise there.
Pearly gates or crimson, neither one's giving you any time back, so you might as well use it while you're here.
So LGT happened this weekend. I didn't really watch the Invitational. I know Danny, you watched it, right?
Meh.
I watched some of it, yeah.
When you have an event that ends because the venue closed rather than have a natural conclusion, we write that off as not a thing.
What they
That
could have
was
done,
kind of rough.
we
I mean, seriously, that's not a thing. You
I mean-
ended the tournament because your
They ended
venue
the
was closing.
tournament. They ended they ended the day
Fine.
of the
They ended that
tournament, yeah.
day, which means that the come on, it's not even a result. You ended it early and did not allow those players to then just continue the game or to like do it again. You created a situation where you now have something that doesn't count. It doesn't count. I'm sorry. That game doesn't count. We put so much emphasis in competitive 40K over the last, like, I don't know how many years on, like, making sure that you have the random time and make sure that the game's finished. And we need to have games come to a natural conclusion. And then the TOs are like, oh, yeah, sorry, just whatever.
Oops.
Leel.
Well, that was-
I don't think the LGT should give up Black Mains. I'm complaining only about the Invitational.
You know, the
rest
open
of
went
it was
really
fine.
well.
It
And
did.
I think to be fair, and a lot of people have said this, if you look at where they were this time last year and now, they've made huge leaps and bounds. So
Oh, yeah,
I think it's going to be around for a long time. It's going to be a thing. And you know what? The organizer deserves a lot of credit for not just kind of being like, "Well, I'm a meme now. Time to disappear forever."
Time to pack it up
right?
and go home, boys.
Yeah, and just was
for sure.
like, and listened to a lot of negative feedback, and was
Yeah.
like, "How do I make this better?" Like, you have to give props to that, because very few people are willing to do that.
Yeah, and
They're
for the
willing
most
to
part,
eat.
like took that negative feedback like without like giving anything back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Not lashing out, not. I mean, like I said, I give them. That was a huge. What happened in the semifinals of the Invitational is definitely like a. Well, I hope you learn your lesson like you did with last year,
Yeah,
because that's some deep fried bullshit.
Yeah, that
but
is not acceptable.
all respect for how you managed to make your event so much stronger than it was a year ago, and to be able to take really negative criticism and learn from it rather than just tune it out or giving up. So like, mad respect there.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I agree.
I would be like, well, guess I'll just die.
Right.
You know, like seriously. I mean,
The old man meme, the computer.
yeah, no, I would literally like do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
No,
think,
so
I think
but
that was more bad time management on the organizer's part.
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's
Plus
one of
they-
those things.
Yeah, well,
you
they
also
expanded
don't
it this
schedule
year.
yourself to be up against the clock at the end of the event to
True.
the venue closing. Like you don't do that. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
they
ahead.
added twice as many players to the invitation.
Then that's not the issue. The issue is they did not plan.
Right. Well, that's what I
For
mean.
that.
So they added
Right.
that many more and didn't really plan or thought they could. For some reason, they thought they could keep.
Right.
We
Whatever
talked about
the
being
case
on time.
was.
Trains being on time earlier.
Well, we talked about the German in me coming out when we talked about that.
Yeah, I was about- yeah. You must
so
pay
my
attention
my
to
inner
the
German is
clock.
triggered. Okay.
Well, it's one of those things of, okay, yeah, if they have a hard like close time, right, where they got to get everyone out, I understand that, but someone needed to be sitting, like somebody should have been there, like, oh man, we've only got like 30 minutes left, and we've got like this game playing. They should have been over there immediately, like, hey guys, this is the situation, let's go, right? Like, move it. Like being on top of it, not just a surprise. Oh, guys, hard dice down. We're getting
Did
kicked
they
out of the
have-
venue.
Did they have advance notice, or was the venue owner kind of like, oh, hey, JK Law, 5 minutes?
No, I'm pretty sure they knew when it was going to close, right? Like when their kind of maximum time was. It's just, I mean, and also the reality is too of like, it's not like that was, the last day. Everyone's
Yeah.
going home, flying out, right, the next morning. It's like, if you really need to, you could have just left the table there or taken photos and been like, cool, we'll finish this game. Guys come in, half an hour early, let's finish this game, right, tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, and that could have actually set a cool precedent, actually. You know what I mean? Like, that could have been like an event. Actually, it could have been an event that, like, I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of that happening, right? Like, oh, pause it, let's take some pics, do it the next morning. That would have been a really clever solution.
It would have.
Yeah, it would. Mm-hmm.
But it didn't happen.
Yep, it didn't happen. So, which I feel bad for Nick, right? Because, like, I mean, that's even one of those situations where if you see that and you run into it, where I would be tempted to be like, we're gonna tally this up the way it would have gone if it had gone to a natural conclusion and give it to Nick. Right?
I don't feel bad for Nick. I feel bad for all the people who pay for his advice.
Oof.
They just got stiffed. I'm sure his fans were watching. I mean, come on, man.
Well, I don't know
sure they were.
if that fee includes him winning tournaments, but it certainly
Adam,
helps the brand.
Adam, the show notes don't have anything about how to respond to what John just said. I'm scared. I don't know. I need guidance.
I need an adult.
Like always, we just tune it out.
I need an adult.
Yeah. Just keep plowing forward. Yeah, I think that, like Danny said, it comes down to scheduling and being aware of not even the game time, just the time your store. It's like playing until the store closes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even,
hey, War Machine used to do that, and you know what they used to do?
Yes.
The store stayed open
Yeah.
for the tournament.
yep.
They kicked everybody else out, but the War Machine players were allowed to stay, and when they were done, it was closed. Hey, look at that. You know why? Because they talked to the people beforehand and worked it out.
Yeah.
I don't know what deal or what the situation is with that, but there may have been other reasons. I don't know, but it happened,
I don't know.
unfortunately.
Well, I mean, I'll say,
Nick.
yeah. Even at LVO last year when we were doing like the seventh round, there was a more or less hard cutoff of like when the hall is supposed to close and lock and all that, and so we were very cognizant on time of like, look, guys, like this, play like you got a purpose because we can't be here until 1 a.m, right? Like the hall closes at midnight, so me and Thomas were on them, right, about like finish your games, right, play, let's get it through, but also scheduling enough where like that round started at I think about 9. It was like 8:30, right? So we had 3.5 hours.
Time for them to get dinner, right? Like
Yeah. But we factored in like, okay, it's not going to go 3.5 hours, right? Like if like no game's going to go here 3.5 hours because everyone's on a clock, and if it is, someone fucked up, right? But
then they're
yeah.
But Thomas and I were checking, right? Like when we would walk by, we were making sure the clocks were more or less where they should be, right?
Yeah.
Not like, man, how we've only got an hour left, and both of you guys got 50 minutes on your clock.
All right, who is pausing the clock? Because you're getting a red card.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, somebody must be.
And then this game is over, so we don't have to care anymore.
Yep. It's like, well, look at that. You're making somebody's day.
Hey, look, we just figured this all out. Worked out perfectly.
Done. The main tournament had, I believe they only went 5 rounds with 400 people.
Oof.
They had, I think it was 9 undefeateds.
Yes.
Yeah, 9. That's
after 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's
some
rough.
people were saying to maybe cut the invitational for right now and just go 3 days.
Or do an invitational a day earlier. I mean, whatever. They can do whatever they want. I mean, there's definitely ways for them to do it. But again, it is still only their second year doing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's their second year doing something this huge. It's huge.
Yes.
Like it's a huge undertaking to do a massive event like that. So, I mean, I understand there's going to be bumps in the road, but if they could make a few decisions on the fly that are better, then I think it would go a long way to saving them a little bit of face.
Yeah. Well, it's also like, I think there's just the logistical reality of it's in London. So being able to find a venue that's going to let you stay for 4 days, right, and not break your bank, right? Because that's the thing about if you're like, we'll do the invitational on its own day, which is a good idea. It's like, well, can you afford the space for another day for like 32 people?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
We're from LA, so we're well aware of like what happens when you try to run an event in a major metropolitan area, right? Like, and everyone just charges you.
I mean, London's
well, that's the thing. London's
going to be like LA or Pasadena,
same as here.
Yeah.
It's like,
so it's like
more comparable to San Francisco, from what I understand. My firm has an office out there. It's just hearing the stories of people's living situations out there. It is nuts.
Oh yeah. I can imagine.
So, like I said, I'm pretty sure that being able to find a venue where it's economically feasible to like have it for 4 days is probably pretty rough.
Yes.
Without putting your, I mean, we have the advantage here of like with LVO of like Vegas is a town designed for conferences, right? Like, so getting space is actually not as expensive as it would seem, although actually having the features in the space is very expensive, but just at least getting a physical space is a lot easier.
Black Main's asked a good question. Black Mains wants to know if we think it would be as big of a deal if last year hadn't happened. No. It would not be as big
at all.
a deal.
Oh, yeah.
Because at this point, it's compounding issues.
Yeah. It's one of those things that's like, it's not, whether it's fair or not, it's a separate conversation, but it's like, it's the age we live in where like the internet's forever. So, your past actions follow you around a lot more closely.
Yeah, Justin Trudeau.
Exactly. You might have just been a stupid kid in college when, you're doing some shit, but guess what? The internet's forever now.
Justin, I have no idea how many pictures there are out of there of me, Trudeau.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God. Okay. I mean, the other thing was I did not like their Hill ruling, but I think that's just a result of like 8th edition's terrain rules being trash.
Can someone explain to me what happened there? I don't know.
They made a weird ruling where like if you fully filled up the hill, you could be assaulted. But if like you left the spot, only the one model that could fit could assault or something like that. It was like a weird way where like you could technically make yourself unassaultable on the hill by the raw reading of their house rule. And I don't know if that's the way they actually did it. Like, I don't know if that's the way they actually enforced it or not. I'm actually interested in hearing from some of the people we know who went now that they're back and they've had some time to relax. I want to ask them and see if that ruling was the way it was, or if they were like, oh, okay, no, we realized the mistake, or that wasn't exactly what we meant. Not Grilled Pickle said you had to assault the gap if they left a gap, which would not be good.
Right.
But I mean,
because you can limit how many people are actually
this is
getting
not
combat.
necessarily an LGT problem. It might be like poor decision by TO and judge, but it is not their fault. The fault is the fact that 8th edition's terrain rules are trash.
Yeah, it's a symptom of the rules itself, not
Right.
necessarily.
And that's literally the worst part of 8th edition is the terrain rules.
You sure? We haven't talked about Space Marines yet.
Space Marines are the best part.
As I paint an executioner right now, or two of them. I'm painting them black.
Where's my once you go black meme?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one. How has no one produced that yet?
I just hate all of you people so much.
Oh, please. You're going to get your Salamander book and you're going to be like, well, okay, here we go.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
We never know. We'll see.
So good.
All right. What else are we talking about?
So congratulations to, I believe it was, I think Manny came in second. I forget who came in first.
For the LGT the Invitational.
The LGT was, first and second was Eldar Flyers.
Yes.
Yeah.
There
And
was
then
there was 3 Eldari in the top. Top 10. There were 7 Imperium, 4 of which were Space Marines.
Yeah.
Which is a good indicator of where we're going.
Yeah, and that's non-Iron Hand Space Marines too, by the way.
Correct.
That's
Dear sweet God.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. Again, SoCal I think will be the real big like testing ground of like this is what you can expect. Like
it's literally going to
big
be
meta
Iron
debate.
Hands everywhere. Like it just is. It just is. It's just going to be Iron Hands everywhere. Why would it not be?
People might be doing some Imperial Fists or other things. Some will be taking Raven Guard.
Some.
You'll get the 3. You'll get the like. Was it like the 3 of Ultramarines, Raven Guard, and White Scars who are like, I'm not going to play Iron Hands. I'm going to be cool and do better.
I wouldn't be surprised if an Iron Hands player doesn't win it, simply because like everybody's going to plan for it, and also all those Iron Hand players are going to be people who are like, I need a point and click army. So I wouldn't be surprised if like they don't win, but I bet a Space Marine player wins. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something that could handle Iron Hands like a White Scars.
Right.
Yeah.
I think White Scars came in like 3rd or 4th at the London GT.
Something like that, yeah.
So that was our very brief discussion of the London GT.
It wasn't too long.
No, I know.
Well, that's why I'm saying very brief. We could have.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of podcasts that are going to dedicate hours to covering it. So
yeah,
there are, because that's what I did at work today.
Yeah. So then you can listen to all those other podcasts.
Wait, aren't we the only 40K podcast on the internet?
The only one I listen to. Oh no, I don't listen to this one either.
You don't even listen to ours. You just listen to long enough to see how good your voice is, and then you just give it to me to put on the.
That's correct.
Give it to
I feel like you set yourself up for that joke there, just a little.
I did. I set myself up for all my jokes because you people are worthless.
Already then.
All right.
Damn.
Okay. Moving on.
Wow.
So
if I'm gonna have to listen to Adam coronate himself later, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want.
We'll come to that later. Spoilers. I coronate myself all the time, by the way.
Yeah, we know.
We're not talking about what you do in private with your phone with the
most married men do.
With the incognito tabs open, okay? That's not what we're talking about.
Liz Lemon, can I Google myself in your office?
All right, this show's going off the rails. Can we stick to the notes, guys? Thanks.
Sure. Speaking of coronation, we also had our recent our RTT this past Saturday. There was a team tournament going on at the same time. Congratulations to Rage Quit Table Flip, who won the 2-day 8-team RT tournament. So we only had about, I believe it was 13 players.
Yeah,
like
13.
Tom was there. Danny was there. Tom was there with his Ultramarines, right?
Yes, I was.
And Danny was there with some jank or
Bash Brothers.
There we go. John was unable to attend. He had to go to his Roman officer reenactment meeting. Roman about the finer points of the Testudo. So
yeah, you mean a birthday party and a baseball game and then a
right, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Look, you can say
and you don't have to hide. Yeah. You don't have to hide. Dude.
Adam, are you wearing headphones?
Yes.
Okay, because you're echoing.
Am I? Because everyone else is echoing.
I don't hear an echo.
Are you sure you don't have the speakers on?
I don't have speakers. I use the headphones.
Okay, well, whatever. We'll just live with it, I guess.
But
we're professionals.
But it was my turn at the night challenge.
Yes. How did you do?
Well, we'll go with me last. Let's see how Danny did.
I did my usual 1-1-1.
Nice.
So, first game, I played.
What was your list?
My list is a Red Corsairs battalion with two smash caps. So that's Jump Pack and Thunderhammer. 2 squads of 5 bros with melee weapons. A squad of 19 bolter bros. Then I had a mixed Supreme Command with Abaddon, a World Eater's Smash Cap with a Power Fist instead of a Thunderhammer, and the Talisman of Burning Blood, and then Ahriman, and then Mortarion as the Lord of War choice, and then Magnus as my auxiliary super heavy choice.
Okay. So, yeah, tell us about your games.
So first game was against Aaron. Aaron Nafla, and he was playing like Thousand Suns with Magnus and a bunch of psychers, and it really was a game of whoever goes first, do they get warp time off? If yes, probably going to win. And I went first, and he did stop Death Hex, but he could not stop warp time. So I warp time Mortarion into Magnus, who Mortarion proceeds to destroy him. Yeah, like just horrifically. And then it was pretty much after that he never killed Mortarion or Magnus. He only killed 4 bros and Ahriman. That's it in the entire game. Yikes, so I was just kind of
devastating.
Yeah, it was again me going first and just like hitting him, and then again because I have Magnus alive and he doesn't, like I really stifled his psychic phase, so he wasn't getting a lot of mortal wounds off. And then he didn't really have any big melee threats that could hurt Mortarion or any real shooting threats. And, it was just one of those things of like, it was not a great, just because I went first, it was kind of like, that was, that's how it was. And then I got
that's Alan dropping after round 1 rough.
Yeah. Although Karma hit me round 2 because I had to play Danny Kwan and his Ultramarine Falchion list.
Yeah.
Okay. And the funny thing is, I went first, so I'm like, okay, I have a chance. But he deployed in the far corner, and so I had to send Magnus forward instead of Mortarion because Mortarion wasn't fast enough. Okay. And I outflank my big squad to shoot away his screen so I could get to the fucking stupid Falchion. In Overwatch, the Falchion does 11 wounds to Magnus. And to make it better, Magnus, because I had to spend a CP to save Magnus because he failed 3 saves against the Volcano Lance or the Volcano Cannon. I had to spend a CP, so I could not spend a CP to reroll my charge, so I failed my charge and then just got obliterated. So that game I killed 2 5-man squads of intercessors and he tabled me. by turn 4.
At least you went to turn 4.
Is that
Yeah, no, a lot of it was just me hiding and like, well, I might as well score a couple points. You know?
Is that what we call getting our just desserts?
Yes, very much so.
Got it.
And then my third game, I'm blanking on the homeboy's name, but he was playing a pure Chaos Knight list with a Castellan, a Valiant, a Dubgat, and
what?
Yeah, like he was playing a really weird thing, and
what is this?
Yeah,
Did it swell your heart seeing
a little
jank?
bit. It was. I was very happy to play against it.
It was
fun. It was Mouthy Mountain. Thank you. It was a fun game. I got to go first again. I'm screwing over John's narrative. I got to go first, and I send again Magnus into his Castellan. Magnus leaves the Castellan on 1 wound between smites and close combat. So the Castellan then proceeds to help out murdering. I lost Magnus and Mortarion, bottom of 1. And then Abaddon came in and finished off a knight, and through smites and stuff, I finished off the Castellan, and I eventually killed the fucking Valiant. But he was left with 1. He was just left with the Dubgat at like half damage, and it was the rest of the time I just hid. Hid, scored points, and at the end of the game, we tied like 25-25. So I'm like, well, I can't win anymore because all of my hitting power is dead. So I'm just gonna run around here and cap objectives and try to deny you kills. And I did. I denied him a turn of getting a kill. So I got hold something, hold more, and he got hold something. So that was like the deciding factor because we both maxed out both of our secondaries.
Nice.
All right. Then.
Yeah.
So
1-1-1. Yeah. Again, every time I'm like, guess my record, guys. No one ever goes for fucking ties when I'm really amazing at getting them.
Apparently.
Yeah. How many times have you gone 1-1-1?
Or at least 500. And you went 500 to hammer, right?
No, nowhere near.
Sorry. I was being optimistic, I guess.
Yeah. No, I go one. I almost always get a tie at some point, no matter what. I think all of my tournament games this season, I have had a tie at one point.
Huh.
Yeah, so
Damn.
I'm just really good at tying, so I should be playing team tournaments, I guess.
Apparently, yeah, seriously, right?
Yeah.
What?
That's my
That's
skill
Sean
set.
Naden, Danny Ruiz for America's ETC team next year.
What?
I can't afford to go, so no.
No, they'll fly out.
Sure, they will. Yeah.
Sure. What? This is the list you're taking to SoCal, or no?
It was, but not anymore.
Space Marines came out.
Yeah, exactly. Space Marines came out, and part of me was like,
and not just the rumors, but then all the rumors ended up being
the actual
better
rules.
than they were.
Yeah. As Adam said, I got scared.
Scared.
Yeah, he didn't think I could hear him, but I did. He's talking shit to some of our friends, which is all right.
That's fine. That's what I said. So I'm not going to
Exactly.
deny it.
He's not denying it.
Nope, nobody said you
say
were.
it to my face until I was like, "Hey, I heard that," and then he's like, "Well, you were scared."
So I did say it to your face.
Yeah.
He was just waiting for the
problem-
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
but,
problem
like-
was you weren't there yet.
Yep. So part of it when I was deciding what am I actually going to do for SoCal, I math hammered out my list against really what I think we all are expecting to see at SoCal, which is Iron Hands, and I just bounce off it, right? If I can even get the charge off, I'm just going to bounce off and then get annihilated. So I was like, well, Space Marines in general, my list doesn't like because they have lots of character sniping, which my list does not like because I need my characters to actually win. Even Raven Guard, it's like, wow, getting +1 to hit and wound against everything in my army that does damage, with the exception of the Bolter squad. It's like, that's real bad. So I decided to audible to be like, well, fuck it, I'll bandwagon for once. I usually don't. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just build an Iron Hands list.
Just want to see what it's like.
Yeah. And so far as I played it, it's not bad. So, I'm, and I said this and I'm going to hold myself to it. I will I'm going to paint this army. I'm painting it right now. And after SoCal, I will sell it. So hopefully I do well. So I can be like, this army went 5-1 at SoCal Open.
Or somebody else does well with Iron Hands.
Exactly. Or someone else does. But either
Someone could
way,
be like,
I just
I may not have done well with it, but this list did well.
Yeah.
And then in the selling description,
I
you
will
just put
take your
similar
monies.
in there at some point. Just similar list. Did really well. Oh my god! All caps.
Yes.
Yep. And then just sell high, buy low, and I'll do that, and then I'll probably use use that cash to start a White Scars army, so I can be hipster and be like, I don't play what everybody plays.
What you could probably do is wait until after SoCal to find some pissed off White Scars player who's selling his army because he hates it and he's switching to Iron Hands, and you could just make bank.
True.
Yeah.
Danny,
Don't go
someone
for
wants
the
to
trade,
know.
though. You don't go for the trade.
Someone wants. Stiff Neck Studio wants to know if did the guy not have a screen, but he was just doing all nights, right?
Bubble wrap.
Yeah,
No,
he
was,
literally had 4 nights, no
I
screen.
thought he was talking about the first guy.
No.
No, he didn't actually have a lot of screen. He only had his squads were all rubric marines.
Yeah, I think he was talking about the first guy, Adam.
Yeah, and even so, Mortarion moving 24 inches since he flies, it's pretty between smite. Yeah, between like targeted smites and just Magnus's smite, like it's not that hard for me to clear a landing path.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like unless the thing is he had a big Zangor bomb, and I thought like, oh, he's gonna put that in front and screen me out. But then even then, I would just like, well, I'll just outflank. If he gives me the angle, I'll just outflank my 19 bolter squad and they're Slanesh, so they double fire and put in 80 plus shots with +1 to wound in them and clear out the screen that way.
Oh my god, nice.
Yeah. So but yeah, he just he didn't have. The better play would have been to again always play for second, right, and put the Zangor bomb in front of his lines and just absorb whatever's going to happen, rather than put it off into the side and like, well, I'm going to dark metal crystal it in later, and it's like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I kill your biggest hitter, right, your biggest threat. Yeah.
So that was Danny's wonderful day,
Mm-hmm.
Tom.
Yeah, it was fun. I got real drunk.
You took Ultramarines. What was in your list, Tom?
So it was a battalion, a spearhead, and a vanguard.
Wait, Ultramarines? What were they painted as?
I was running them as Ultramarines.
Generic Loyus.
Or they,
But I was,
painted
I was. Oh, they look like your friendly neighborhood Alpha Legion. No big deal.
Okay. That's because I have that picture up for you. I have Ultramarines and Alpha Legion right next to each other.
Oh, I just saw it. Yeah, that makes me happy. Okay, so it was those 2 detachments, and then the HQ choices I had, just going through it quickly, were a Phobos captain, Phobos librarian, Sergeant Cronus in Relic Whirlwind Scorpius, because
why
you
not
should do that if you're running Ultramarines.
Yes.
And then let's see, I had one more HQ, which was a captain with a jump pack, a storm shield, and a chainsword. And he pretty much every game I gave him Teeth of Terra and Imperium Sword.
Yeah.
Just
slash captain.
I'm finding that slash captain. I'm just finding that combination is just so good. It doesn't matter what you're playing. It's just really good. And he used it. So there's that. And then I had 2 units of infiltrators, 5-man. I had a 5-man unit of scouts, 3 Invictor warsuits with the with the flamers. Then I had another Scorpius, just regular old Scorpius. And then I had 2 Stormhawk interceptors with Icarus cannons and Typhoon missile launchers.
Was this the same list you played against me on the stream?
The exact same list.
Right.
Okay.
So if you want to see the list in action, you can go to our Twitch page. There's a video of Tom and I playing the game.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, this was actually my second RTT with this list. I got lucky; I was able to go to 2 RTTs in a row, and in both, I lost my first game, and in both first games, I gave the game away. But my wins, I don't know. It's interesting. This list is like surprising me. But anyway, first game I played against the teammate. His name's Nick Scolari, really great guy. Ended up being our league game too, which was like I think kind of messed with me for a second because it was.
He's also a streamer. You should check him out.
Oh yeah, I know, absolutely. Yeah, and again, really, really solid guy. And he runs chaos usually and all different kinds of variants. And this time he was running basically kind of a slow marching horde army, but cultist based, not plague bearer based.
Because he had Abaddon, right?
Yeah, he had Abaddon. He had the Blight Lord Terminators. He had some 2 Foul Blight Spawns, Chaos Demon Prince of Nurgle, Abaddon, of course. 2 units of Chaos Space Marines, or maybe just 1. 2 big 30-man units of cultists, and then 3 obliterators. And oh my god, obliterators! I forgot how evil they are.
Just wait till they go down points.
Oh, I know they will too.
I got 6 of them.
Adam's just cackling in the corner. Yes, my pretty.
Skeletor cackle.
So the thing is, I use our RTTs as a chance to kind of experiment, and quite honestly, what I should have done against Nick is he had less drops than me, I think, by like a couple. So he was going to go first unless I seized. I should have just let him go first. I should have deployed back. He has to come to me, and I've got enough shooting and bodies to prevent him from dealing damage. I should have done that. Instead, what I did was I tried to play aggressive against a Chaos Horde army, which is a terrible idea. And in addition to playing aggressive, I played aggressive to the point where I gave him charge. I just think I wasn't playing. I was just in my own head about how I wanted to play it, and I was trying to experiment with different ideas, and I ended up just giving the game away. But he played his game flawlessly. I mean, he took advantage of every single mistake I made, and when I couldn't work my way out of it, he really just slowly dropped the hammer like slow motion, but still killed me, because that's what Horde let's do.
The guy pushing the knife in Saving Private Ryan.
Oh
yeah, that's what it felt like.
No.
Yeah, it's what it felt like, and I deserved it. I played. I think I played pretty arrogantly, considering like the last 2 games I had. I just saw that meme posted.
Well, I didn't do nothing.
Never mind. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm gonna alt tab out of that chat. Okay.
I didn't do nothing.
So I lost to him to 33-10. So I was like, I was beating myself up for it, but I was like, whatever. I'll play it better next game. Next game I play against another teammate, Carson, who was running. He was running a battalion of Red Corsairs with a sorcerer with a jump pack, another sorcerer with a jump pack, 3 sets of 5 Chaos Marines, then a spearhead with Abaddon, 2 units of Havocs, actually, one just with with chain cannons and auto cannons, 1 set of obliterators, which I was already like, okay, that shit's gonna die. I'm gonna kill that thing, because that's what actually happened in game 1 too. Nick dropped his obliterators and just destroyed both of my Scorpiuses in 1 turn, and I was like, okay, you want to go get a beer? Yeah. So then the rest of Carson's list was 3 Lord Discordants. So, and the thing is, like, okay, so I was really worried about the. I actually hadn't played against them yet as Ultramarines, so I learned a lot from my first lesson. Deployed back. I knew who was going to underdeploy me. I just had some stuff ready to go in case, and then I ended up seizing on him, and I was like, oh, and we were playing on the home plate deployment, the one where it's 9 inches from the center, and it's like a diagonal Dawn of War, frontal assault, yeah.
Home plate. That's fine.
I don't know. I just don't want to call it whatever they call it on VGR, just because I want to be different. And I want to make Ray confused if he ever does listen to us, because he only understands things in terms of food deployments, and I think.
Okay, you can stop now. Continue with the story.
This
is what we talked about earlier, Tom.
Wait, which one?
Keep going. Focus.
Use it. I ended up seizing. I threw everything at him. I redeployed the sniper so I could see one of his Lord Discordants. I moved the Invictors up as close as I could. And then they didn't really do much turn 1, but then the Stormhawks came in, and I positioned them to be near his characters once I killed one of the Discordants, because he deployed very much on that corner piece with the building in between us, and going first, he was going to go around it basically, but instead I just kind of came to him. I ended up killing all 3 Discordants because Sealed Oath is the best relic that Ultramarines have, and you should take it every single game.
So you can change targets after you kill the first one.
Yeah. Well, the sealed oath only works for one enemy model
Okay.
or unit.
Right.
So like at the beginning of the game, you choose but before the first turn starts, you choose, and that's the power of it. You get to choose right there and then once the game starts. I'm gonna kill that thing. So it's like, oh, he's got 2 super bad knights, but he put one in front and one in the way back. Okay, the one in front, I can declare it. You don't have to declare it in the beginning, so he can't deploy against it.
Okay.
So I just chose one of the discordants, the one that was blocking the character's line of sight. I think I think what is it? I think Cronus killed it with 2 of his shots, so his 2 sets. And then I played 2 CP to fire the 3rd set into the next discordant and brought it down to half at minimum, I think. Maybe I almost killed it. Then the next Scorpius kills that discordant, then throws his other half of shots into the other one, bringing it down. All 3 eliminator squads fire at the last discordant.
Okay.
And I used the guided aim, so I was doing mortal wounds 5s. I hit a couple mortal wounds. He failed some saves, and I did it I was averaging 2 damage each shot. So I piled up that, and I ended up killing all 3 discordants. Then the one flyer murders all of his Chaos Space Marines and one of his sorcerers that I can see. The other flyer helps finish off one of the discordants, I think, and then kills another set of Marines. And so at the end of the turn, just because I had seized on him and he was out in the open, he only had a librarian or a sorcerer and 5 man left.
And Abby.
And no, Abby he
Nope.
keeps.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Oh, really?
Shit.
Okay.
Yeah. So I forgot to mention maybe he had a termite. So he had the Havocs and the termite, Abby, and the obliterators all off the board.
Okay.
So turn 2, I tried to go for the table, and because I was being cautious, I actually outranged myself with a Scorpius, so I couldn't use the Scorpius to kill his last 5-man unit of Chaos Space Marines, which held him in the game so his reserves could come in. Then he comes back, punches my Invictor Warsuits pretty hard with a termite drill, and then eventually by turn 5 I would clean him up. So it was one of those things where it was like it would have been a very different game had he gone first. But a lot of it was because he was in the open and because my army can go very fast and in your face very quickly, which I don't think a lot of people notice. And honestly, I didn't really notice until the RTT before. It's pretty cool.
Tom came to us to say, I'm not too scared of discordants.
Paul Zuber, who was running Big Tuna, aka the giant mega warsuit of death that Tau have.
The Taunar.
He had some Fire Warrior. The Taunar. And I was like, okay, well, let's see if I go first or not. And I ended up going first. I throw Sealed Oath on the Taunar. And before even shooting at it, I just have the flyers zip up. I have the Invictor Warsuits zip up. And I go only for his drones. And I focus all of his drones. He had 18 drones next to it. And I just go for that as quickly as I can. And I ended up taking all 3 drone squads down before I get to my Scorpiuses, which was a huge thing. So I was like, finally, okay. So then I had the Scorpiuses start piling into the Taunar and brought it down to 15 wounds, I think.
Oh, did you?
Is that it has the Stormhawks and the Invictors in your face turn 1. So the real threat is the Scorpiuses. But he's got all this stuff right in front of him that if he doesn't deal with, is still going to kill the Taunar, probably. So he basically splits his shots. He goes for all 3 Invictor Warsuits with the Taunar. He goes for some Eliminators with his SMS, and he kills on his turn 2 Warsuits and does half damage to a plane because I was -1 to hit. And turn 3, I kill the Taunar, and then I was like 2 Fire Warriors away from almost winning that game by tabling 2. He brings his crisis suits down. They murder a plane, and then at that point, I had rotated my plane around again to take out the support drones for them, and then the Scorpiuses just unload into the crisis team. But yeah, so that was actually it was a really good game too. But like playing these like last 6, 7, 8 games, even the ones that I've lost, it's like, damn, like even like this is what Ultramarines can do. You know what I mean? Like just Like their I think whole shtick is just the incredible tactic flexibility and just everything that they're able to accomplish regardless of what their opponent is doing. And it allows for a lot of diversity of play, which is like for me so much fun because I've come from playing both Tau, which are very linear and like boring to play after 6 games, and then Custodes, who kind of are the same thing if you're running bikes, like which I was because I was.
So this
I
means
was
you should switch to Iron Hands.
But see, I don't want to switch to Iron Hands.
He wants to be a special snowflake with Raven Guard.
Say that
Yeah.
now.
We already
Well,
told
no.
them we can't play Raven Guard.
Well, here's the other thing. Even if I could play Raven Guard, quote unquote, like, I don't know why you think you guys saying I can't stops me, but I wouldn't actually play Raven Guard because after looking at their codex, I'd need a whole different list to play them effectively.
Yeah,
and
you couldn't just port
I like
over what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was hoping maybe I could, but
Meh.
I mean, the only thing I really can are the Eliminators. Those are the
You could port over directly to Iron Hands, but not
yes,
Raven Guard.
as
or White
my
Scars.
list, I probably
Yeah, I
could.
think you could.
Yeah.
Axis wants to know if you have Calgar or Gilliman, and that is no, right?
Say that again.
Neither.
You want to know
I
if you had
haven't either.
Calgar
I haven't
or Gilliman.
either.
He doesn't have either one of them. He has
No.
Chronos.
Yeah. I have Sergeant
Chronos, all you need.
He had Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, great game. Solid reference. 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone go home.
10 out of 10 would play again.
Yep, for real.
Said everybody who ever finished that game ever.
I did not have a lieutenant either, and actually the lieutenant I'm kind of. I was just stiff Nick. The lieutenant I'm kind of actually more missing more often than not, but
Yeah, reroll the wound is nice. Well, rerolls
It's
period are nice. That's
it's
been that way
rerolls
for
period.
forever.
But the thing is with Sealed Oath, I generally kill the thing I really need to kill. And that's enough for me. The rest of that, strength 6, 3d3, shooting twice, generally gets the job done. Don't get me wrong. There are times where I'm like, oh my God, how come that thing is still alive? Like I've thrown way too many shots into it for it to still be alive. I think that actually happened in Nick Scolari's game. I was like insult to injury, something like, and I deserved it. Again, it's one of his things was like not dying, and I threw freaking like 12 D3 shots of Scorpiuses into it, and I was like, you motherfucker, just die.
You need those rerolls.
Yeah, and then his obliterators came in and were like, bye.
Okay, bye.
So 2-1. You can change anything about your list?
No, I actually really like it the way it is.
Feeling good?
I'm feeling really good. What I need to do is I need to play against more Chaos. I need to play against more Eldar, and I need to play against Chaos and Tyranids. I'm actually not scared against playing against Hordes, but I need to play against good Horde players. So I don't know. We might have a guy on our team who plays Orcs really well. I'm not sure. I don't know what his name. I can't remember. No, in all seriousness, I need to play against like Jeff and anybody else in our store who plays like Eldar, Flyer Spam, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now you have an answer for giant hangers. I'm gonna go to here.
I'm sorry. What? I blacked out for a second.
And you don't want your PTSD to kick in.
Does anyone still play Tyranids? Yeah, Danny does, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
And it's
probably go
hard.
back to them soon. I just part of it is like I need to be like working out and getting my back strong because it's a horde army and like, oh my God, like it's hard to play 3 games like with that army, let alone play 5 or 6. Like a game a night, and I'm just like, oh, it is because it's 100, it's like 200 models total, and it's a lot of moving shit. It's especially the Gene Stealers, like, because that positioning really matters. Like with the Gaunt Wall, I can just be like, I'll push these fuckers forward for the most part. But the Gene Stealers, like where each model is really important. So it becomes like a lot of like hunching over that fucking table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a Tyranid list did really well in Australia. Like it was a horde list, and like they have plays. It's just most people don't want to play a horde army, right? Like because it's tiring, and it's also not your games never end quickly because the whole point of the list is like I'm just going to choke you out and win by like 5 or 10 points at most after after 6 turns.
Which is generally how most animals in Australia act. They just like choke you out until you're dead.
Yeah. No, it's So, like, yeah, Tyranids are viable, even just pure 100%. It's just they're really right now shoehorned into bring just an ass ton of bodies and play to the ITC mission. So, all you're trying to get is hold more each turn and get all of your secondaries, deny them their secondaries, and win that way, right? Maybe get one good lucky turn where you get kill more, or don't let them get kill more, and that's it. Like, it's not a super fun army to play because it's I like to liken things to MMA. It's a jiu-jitsu fighter who's going to choke you out after you're tired from 10 minutes of just wrestling on the ground. It's not it's not super exciting to watch or play, but it is effective if you do it right. It's just I don't really have the energy to want to have all of my games go 6 full turns where I'm like, I'm either winning by 5 or 6 points, I think. Right? Like, that's just not really that enjoyable. But who knows? Maybe Psychic Awakening will give them some stupid broke shit.
Oh, yeah.
All monsters have 5-up invuls.
Nah, that wouldn't even be enough.
No, not even close.
Our monsters would need to be faster, be weapon skill 3 or 2+, and hit harder. Mm. That's really what it is. Our monstrous creatures don't actually get that hard.
They get Bioshock Assault.
No.
That solves everything.
All right, let's stop talking about Tyranids because it's a faction nobody plays. Adam, how'd your games go?
Oh my game was okay. As everyone knows, we're doing the stupid night challenge. I haven't named
which you would not fucking stop bitching about the entire tournament.
All day.
If you look on
it's like this guy's not even a part of his own podcast.
I know.
I'm doing this against
If I have to sit through stupid fucking haikus, you have to play this stupid list.
And just like you, I can complain about it the whole time.
I mean, fine.
Well, yeah. Well, like that. It's just like, yeah.
Okay.
That's the worst part, John. You're going to have to deal with haikus pretty much every year. Adam is going to have, every other year to be pissed off at the challenge.
No, we're doing a challenge every year, and it's always going to be stuff he doesn't like.
No, I'm okay with the new challenge, which we'll, I guess, announce at the end of this.
Okay, so we need to change the new challenge. New challenge is, what's his least favorite faction? Ultramarines.
There we go.
It's not Ultramarines. It's my least... It's not Eldar. My least favorite. It's Eldar.
Oh, we all
Thank
suffer
you, Danny.
if we do Eldar.
All right, Eldar. We're going to do Eldar next. Yeah, that way everybody can feel my pain.
But it has to be Aspect Warriors.
I think I'm the only person on this podcast who's ever played Eldar.
I've never played Eldar.
I've played Harlequins with some Eldar, but that's it. I've not played any
Harlequins don't count.
I played the janky combination of Triptide and the jet bikes.
Yeah, that's right.
At the end of
God,
7.
You played Taudar.
I played Taudar at the end of 7 because I was like, "We're getting a new edition. Screw it. I'm gonna troll." No, I didn't win at all. I just wanted to troll.
Right. No, that's what makes it even worse or better.
It was so bad.
Okay. Anyways, how'd your games go, Adam?
Okay, so if you've been following the memes, it comes up when Danny's name comes up as to what the list is.
Oh yeah, I can go to it real quick.
It's essentially 5 nights.
I meant to put on your name, but I forgot.
No, that's okay. It's Danny's baby.
I thought I came up with the list.
You came up with the list. I didn't. John did.
I did.
I was just the one who suggested we do a night challenge because we were all building knights.
Yes, correct. We should have done the Chaos Night challenge and just waited.
So Hawkshroud is the house. So Useless House, Useless Armigers.
Oh my God! Stop.
Useless Valiant. These are the tools.
Which won him his game one.
These are the tools
Right.
that I had to work with.
Oh God!
So I had to polish this turd and try to win.
Okay, let's not try to set
John.
this up. Let's not try to set this up as if you're some amazing player who did really well with a shitty list. Because everybody listening knows it's not true.
You're posing it like it's one of those comeback movies where it's like one man with only a house of Hawkshroud and a Valiant.
So
Stop setting it up that way.
the Valiant is the Warlord, and I had to take the Super Soaker Relic. There was an Iron Bulwark for the Warlord trait.
It's a good relic. Why would you not take it?
No, I'm not saying I wouldn't. It's really the only thing you would take with it. But I also paid. I usually paid for the 2+ armor save for the Gallant, which was money the whole time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's what you do with the Gallant. 2+ armor save all day, every day.
The first game was against Esteban and his Death Watch. Death Watch with a knight that had the Melta, the giant Melta gun, and then 2 armigers. That in that game, he actually won, even though I got the +1 in the first 2 games anyway. So he won the roll to go first. I actually seized, and then I saw his heart drop. And it was
because everybody knows that you win if you go first.
I see my games sort of play to the narrative of that.
Sort of. Did you win the game you went second?
Yes. Wait, did I go second? I don't even remember. Oh no, I did. I went first that one too. So it went with John's narrative.
Yes, I already knew the answer to the question I asked.
Yeah. So yeah, but they don't know unless they check BCP. So I
doesn't tell you who went first.
Well, not no, yet. It goes by who won.
Not yet. It should. It should collect all that information. It should be collecting all that information and all the information about the list so that you can aggregate all the data. They should totally do that because it can. They should do that.
Well, they just recently paired with ITC Battles, which is a fantastic scoring app.
That'll be awesome.
So
I mean, all that data.
They better pull it. Only if they pull it. Like they have to do the coding and pull it. Like
right now all it does is it uploads your win score. I don't know if BCP actually takes the round data.
Yeah, I want everything pulled.
Yeah, because the round data has to be accurate.
Double it.
So I deployed more or less bunched up together. It was mission 1, or no, it wasn't. It was mission. Which mission was it? Do you remember, Tom? What mission 1 was the second game?
Yeah,
I think
it was 3.
Oh, it was 3. It was mission 3. I didn't care because I was playing knights. I don't care about the mission.
Good memory, guys. Way to go.
So, well, maybe if you'd shown up, we could have remembered.
I wish I could have.
You were too busy reenacting.
Yeah, At this point, my soul has been so crushed by this that whatever. Sure. Sure. Whatever.
And it becomes truth.
I was reenacting the Maori crossing to Easter Island.
So basically, and it was the 2 L shapes in the middle, the L-shaped buildings in the middle. So I started in the middle. The Valiant went through the middle. I forgot it has shitty range, so I couldn't shoot at anything. Castellan and the little guy shot at his knight, took it down to like 12 wounds or something like that. When he assaulted the knight at my Castellan, I used the Hawkshroud stratagem to shoot the giant flamer at the knight, and I took it from 12 wounds to 5 wounds. So that when he attacked me, he was degraded because he was playing it as I think it was Mortan. It was a house that no one really ever
Morton,
uses.
It would be one that you wouldn't necessarily see often, but it would not be like a automatically lose choice.
Okay.
It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine.
Doesn't it do extra damage or something?
It's something like that, yeah. It's not terrible. It's just not
like if his
it's
heavy
not
stubborn
pre-Nurse Raven. It's not Hawkshroud. It's not Terran. Right.
Yeah, it was something like if he had done damage with his heavy stubber, it would have caused three wounds instead of just 1. It was like one of those things.
Crast.
Is it Crast?
Crast is the one that gets bonus damage against other heavies.
Yes, okay. It is Crast. Yes.
Sure, I didn't care because I crushed it.
Crast is good too. Crast is usually the triple Crusader list.
Oh, okay, so he sent that. He sent his Smash Captain Deathwatch guy after my little dude, and he failed to do any wounds. So little guy dies, Knight dies. Valiant goes up the middle, starts killing shit. Harpoon is useless. Harpoon's useless the whole day.
I've done some good work with the harpoon. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fun when it happens.
Yeah.
When it doesn't happen a lot, but it's a lot of fun when it does. When you kill a custode shield captain with it, and they're like, "Okay, so you failed your invulnerable test? Yeah. Okay, so how much damage? 10. What? 10?
Yeah. The times it did hit, my opponent made their saves though.
Yeah, that's the problem with it. That's the problem with anything that's one shot like that. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. So. The flamer was good though.
Oh god, the flamer is so money.
And so what ended up happening was during the course of the game, my stuff was dying, his stuff was starting to die. And at the end of the game, it was just I believe it was my Castellan.
No, it was your Valiant.
Was it my Valiant? It was my Valiant then, and his what's the chapter master called?
Watchmaster.
Watchmaster. And that was it. And I had and I had top of turn. So turn 6, I basically killed the Watchmaster. So all that's left was my Valiant standing on the table, triumphant, and I won by like 8 points, like 24 to 18 or something like that. So win number 1 in the belt. Breathe a sigh of relief. I could lose my
complaining about the challenge.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Star Action bitch was real.
This is what I have to work with.
Adam really puts the TFG in TFG Radio.
I really put the F.
He does.
Yeah.
Yes. Valheri asked if I'm getting a Space Marine army, and I already have one.
Yeah,
I have one that's already started, and then I have a bunch of it painted because I was using it with knights, and then I have a bunch of stuff for it that's like unbuilt or partially built. Like
John has built, painted, and sold 5 armies in the last week.
Come on now, 3 weeks. And I've built and painted. God, how many Marine armies now?
It's
been. Yeah, so I had my very first army was Black Templars, which wasn't really Black Templars, it was Black and Gold Templars, Salamanders, Space Wolves, then Grey Knights, 5th edition Grey Knights, of course.
5th edition
Grey
Grey Knights.
Right. Yeah.
Then it was
caveat.
the Silver Marines, which took me through 6th and 7th, which were Salamanders and Space Wolves at one point. So it counted as 2, because I had actual Space Wolf models for it. And then
the Death Guard army in early 8th.
Death Guard. I did Death Guard twice in 8th.
Did you?
I did. I bought one, and then I like the big Terminator army, and then I sold it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So that's 8. I had Alpha Legion at one point that at the beginning that I sold.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And now this one. That's 10. I have 10.
Jesus.
10 Space Marine armies. Yeah.
Yeah.
10, is it weird? 10. Is it a weird shade of blue that in the right light looks like Iron Hands? No, actually, it is black. The paint scheme is black. If you look on the Salty John Facebook page, I don't know about TFG, but if you look at the Salty John Facebook page, you can see some pictures of it when I used it alongside the Porphyrion for a little while. I used it alongside.
I think you shared the page on the TFG page.
I might have shared the post. Yeah.
Or shared the post. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyways, back to Adam and his night challenge.
Game 2 was against Philip, and he was playing all Thousand Suns, 3 Demon Princes, Armon on a disc, 20 Rubric Marines, and 20 Scarab Occult Terminators.
Is this the guy Danny played?
No, this is another guy.
This is a different guy. And then he had three Hell Brutes with las cannons and missile launchers, and 2 squads of cultists. I believe that was it. And this was a hammer and anvil. Again, and this was mission 1. I bunched up in the middle again, and basically I won the roll off to go first. He did not seize.
Shocking.
So what I decided to do was just take that bundle of guys and just go one direction and just forget about holding objectives.
Okay, fair enough.
Or I held one objective for about 2 turns, and then he killed the Warglaive with his bolter rounds, because with the bolter fire from the Terminators plus the veterans of the Long War, it was no contest, and if that thing was going to survive or not. But what ended up happening was as my army moved forward, he dropped his 20 Rubric Marines in front of my army, and I just lit them up with everything, especially the big flamer. There was only
the flamer's going to wilt everything.
There's only like 2 or 3 guys left. He decided not to spend 2 command points to keep them, and which is fine. But in doing so, he forgot that he should have moved his cultists up to move block my knights. So basically, what ended up happening, all the knights got into a scrum on his side of the table with the Demon Princes. Yikes. And he made a mistake. The other mistake he made was not committing all of his Demon Princes to kill the knights and the armager.
Right.
or the Warglaive. He only sent one against the Gallant and one against the Warglaive.
Oof, yeah, that's not wise.
Well, because they're only -2, I was able to make 2 out of 3 Warglaive saves, or make all of my Gallant saves because I have a 2+ armor. So it's a 4+ save. And because of that, I basically crushed the Demon Princes, crushed Armand, and just mopped up the rest of the game. He did have to leave a little early, so we just kind of went through the motions of where the game would go, because I just gave up my side of the board to his Terminators. So he got hold 1, hold more every turn, but I got kill 1, kill more, because all of my models were too out of range of his Terminators.
Right.
And so I actually ended up winning by 1 point. 24-23, I think it was.
Oh, damn.
Collusion.
Judge.
Asterisk. He's got to play it again. Got to play it straight.
Baseball player in the early 2000s on roids. Throw that asterisk on there.
I just play the opponents presented to me. Just because a lot of the tougher players were at a certain tournament that same weekend, and that's the weekend it happened, I decided to play them.
Oh, you just happened to play.
Mm-hmm. I was asked to be a coach of that tournament by a team.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know. I want Adam tested for Adderall.
Dude, I keep hearing that. Do I need to buy some Adderall when I play this game? I don't understand.
See, the thing is, like having.
I feel like I'd be a fucking nightmare on Adderall.
You absolutely would,
right? Like I feel like I'd have no friends anymore.
I think what would happen is you'd just be like intently staring at something, and then like half a sentence you'd be like, "It's dumb. That's dumb. Stop being dumb."
just Adderall salty.
Basically. I know
just
what I do.
Super intense and fast talking salt. That does not sound fun.
There we go.
Yeah, I just get way too focused, and then all of a sudden I'm like, it's been 10 hours since I've eaten.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Maybe I'll take some and go to the gym.
Yeah, no, right? It's like, so
man, I've been
not
here for
eating,
like
huh?
I've been here for like 3 hours. What the hell's going on?
So the last game, I was actually on the bottom of the third, 4 undefeateds. I was number 4. Number 4, I think. So I ended up playing Tyler, who actually won the tournament, the RTT that Tom was at the previous week. Right? Is that correct, Tom?
I was you played against
Tyler.
Yeah, no, he won the RTT that I was at. I actually got second at that RTT.
Look at you and your results.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
well, when all of the games you do win are tablings, it does kind of help.
so he was playing orcs, and he was playing like 100 and something orcs, and it was mission 6, I believe. So he decided to set up first and go first. He started to set up his army. I walked away for about a half hour, came back, and then he was done. I set up my army in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, of course.
For this particular mission, I actually chose engineers and chose the 2 warglaives as engineers.
Could they be engineers? Can vehicles be engineers?
I don't know.
I think it only says you can't be a character, and that's it.
Yeah. I think pretty well. Not that it would have mattered on the.
This is the game he lost, so we can't call him on it, really.
I mean, we totally
You
can.
could. Yeah, why not?
Well,
I don't care.
But you know what I mean.
Anyway,
I'm looking it up, actually.
Well, if they are, or even if they're not, it wouldn't have changed anything, because I was always in every game I was able to pick 2 secondaries really easy. I always had trouble picking a third one, so I usually got only 1 or no points for the third secondary anyway. So, but I did pick engineers. I actually got 3 points out of that engineers.
So
engineers is not bad. I take engineers in most of my games with the Red Corsairs, because what else am I going to do with them?
Oh, right, yeah.
I only take it if I can guarantee hide my scouts.
Yeah, like I'm not going to take engineers against your fucking list. You're going to blow my ass away with the stupid Scorpius, whatever bullshit, and stupid things, reroll and everything, be shit.
But it was orcs with 100 and something boys and grots and tank bustas and ludas and 3 shock attack guns.
Needs more shock attack guns.
I know, right? Which is funny because that game I actually had I almost thought I had a chance, but then I realized, oh, what am I doing? I only have like 5 models compared to his 500. Because his shock attack guns, for his strength, he was only rolling anywhere between 3 and 10 was his highest roll.
You should have been up in his grill and just assaulting.
I was. But the problem was he would just back up and then shoot me with the shock attack gun again.
That's true. Well, the Castellan should have killed at least a shock attack gun a turn. At least.
No,
What were
this
you
one
doing
was Vanguard Assault, and he put him way in the corner because I think the range is like 60.
The fuck Castellan's got a 72-inch range on the Lance.
No, the I can't shoot him. The missile launchers, the missile is only 48.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the cannons, the tractor cannon things.
No,
I was thinking those, not shock attack guns. Got it. Okay,
No,
sorry.
shock attack.
My bad. I had those two
Oh.
units. I had those 2 units mixed up. The tractor cannon things. The other thing you take to kill knights if your orcs.
I wish they were
Smasher
the
gun.
tractor cannons because I would just
Yeah,
shoot
those
shit
things
out of
get
those.
wiped off the board. That's why I was like, what the hell do you mean they're alive? Got it. Never mind.
No.
Understood.
No, so he was always out of range. So I just
Yeah, of course.
and he killed the first thing he killed was the Valiant. You know, I got to use it maybe once and that was it.
Yeah, that's target priority number 1 for him.
You know, and he did the jump a couple times, and it's mission 6, so he has a bunch of characters, so they're standing on all the objectives, so he's getting the bonus. So he would hold more the bonus, but he almost never got kill more, or even a kill sometimes because he chose old school and didn't kill anything the first turn because he rolled so bad on his shock attack guns. But with the Grot shield and the shock attack guns, I wasn't able to really get to the meat of his line. So he killed off like a knight a turn. I was still able to get a bunch of points, and like you said, I took the models, the Warglaves as engineers, so they just kind of stood there because they weren't really going to do anything against the mass of bodies with their just 4 attacks or 8 attacks compared to 12 and 15 with the other knights. But we actually went. He didn't table me till like turn 4 or 5. It actually went along. It went much longer than I thought it would.
So I need to hold out one more turn.
Yes. So I ended up being 2-1 with some, I don't know how many battle points. So 2-1 in the lead so far.
No, Danny's 2-1 also.
No, I'm
Danny's
1 and 2.
Who's then Tom went 2-1?
He went 1 and 2.
And then
God damn it, you guys.
It's all up to you, John.
It's up to you, John. Only you have.
I do not want to play it at like the only other tournament I'm going to get to play this entire
BAO
season.
himself.
Then you can just concede defeat right now and
You know
give
what?
it to.
I'll think
And we
about it.
and we coronate
Think about it.
Adam right now.
I'm going to think about it.
Come on, you can be my court jester.
Okay,
No, that's Tom.
That's
Not.
not
Well,
me.
Tom's volunteering for that. He
Yeah,
wants
because I'm legally changing my name to Danny K.
I will literally
know how
quit
many-
this podcast before I allow anybody to refer to me as Adam's Jester.
might be worth it.
This podcast is the
Alright.
worst thing ever.
That's okay. Tom is changing his name. We're
Mhm.
fine. We're good. We're gonna have a resurgence of Danny K impersonators. Apparently,
Yeah.
it's up.
I mean, in October, I'm supposed to go to the RTT. It's on the calendar. I've already talked about it with
Okay.
that. But that doesn't really matter if one of my friends happens to be like, hey, I'm getting married this weekend, which
Oh.
is what happened with SoCal Open. So,
Oh, so you don't really need to practice for SoCal. So it's up to you.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I
You
might
should-
do the night
If it's
challenge.
your only tournament, you might as well just do what you want.
Right.
Yeah,
or I
yeah.
might
Enjoy
do
your
I might
time.
do the Terminator challenge.
Oh, the
Next
first
year.
of the term.
You might sneak up on it.
I might.
Get a head start.
Might get a head start when like Space Marines are still kind of new. Get a nice lead, get a 3-0, and you
Okay,
guys
get a
can
3-0.
be my
Then
jester.
I'll just concede because I'll play Chaos Terminators and they suck.
Oh,
No,
by
the
the
Terminator
way,
challenge is 20. Oh, okay. So wait.
It's
The-
just
the
20
chal-
Terminator.
So we have
I
to
guess
take
now we're
a
talking about
list with 20
Okay,
Terminators.
so that was my RTT. I'm still taking Chaos.
We moved
to,
on. Nobody cares.
Yeah, no. I'll just wrap this up before we move on. I'm still taking
I
Chaos.
already segued.
Yeah, I'm going back.
And you guys yell at me?
This banter is
So-
funny. Just gonna throw that
Is
out
it
there.
though? Is it?
It is. I
It's
agree.
amusing. It's amusing to Adam and I. Everybody else can suck it. I thought I made it clear when I said I shit on the people. I don't give a goddamn about what they want.
That is true.
And what they tell me they want in person is more salt.
So I'm still taking Chaos. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. So I'll just go 0-6 at SoCal Open.
That's fair. That's fine. If you're not taking Space Marines, then you're going 0-6.
Yeah, just expect to go.
You'll have a losing record if you're not taking Space Marines.
Or Eldar Flyer Spam.
I don't know, because we're still waiting for the fall FAQ. That may change flyer spam in terms of how the aircraft keyword works.
Yeah, that's true.
But we won't know until whenever they decide to let us know what the FAQ says.
Mm-hmm.
And as we just mentioned, we're going to have a new challenge for next year, which will be the Terminator Challenge.
Okay, so is it we get to make our own list with 20 Terminators in it, or we
The
have
list
to take
has
the list?
to have 20 Terminators, and as far as I know, we were going to do any Terminators, so it could be
Perfect.
Yes.
could
Yes.
be Custody Terminators.
Those don't. No, they're not Terminators. They don't have the Terminator keyword.
Oh, they don't. Okay, Tom would know.
I don't think those Alaris Terminators have the Terminator keyword.
I don't even know if you can afford 20 of them in the list.
I don't think you can, because you have to take 20 Terminators.
Yep.
Deathwing counts, because or Deathwing Knights.
Ooh,
Knights have they
Deathwing.
have the Terminator keyword.
I wouldn't mind doing a Deathwing army.
What?
Shut up.
I'm already doing Chaos.
Just stop trolling us. Just knock it off. Nobody's listening to you anymore.
No, he's gonna do 20 Deathwing Terminators and then a Falcon.
And his Deathwing Terminators are going to be painted like Black
They got
Legion.
spikes and LF.
Spikes and Black Legion, yeah.
Black and gold. No, so it's just 20 Terminators. Doesn't matter if it's Chaos or Space Marine. Or we're just doing Space Marine.
I think it's
Chaos or Space
20,
Marine.
20. The list has to have 20 Terminators that have the Terminator keyword.
Okay.
Like that's what it should be.
Oh, I wonder if Obliterators have a Terminator keyword.
You know, Nurgle
They
Terminators
used
would have
to.
been the best, probably, but that list just does not do as well anymore. Like I played that list. I played the 20 Death
Blight Lord.
The Blight Lord Terminators. I did it for a while. I did it for an entire league. With the double Leviathans, 20 Terminators, an Ahriman on disc, in an Ox for -1 CP. It had a Lord and a Sorcerer. Like, I played it. And it was decent, but like, and 30 Poxbringers. But like, it's not... It's going to get blown off the freaking table now.
By the way, John, technically, actually, Custodial Terminators do have the Terminator keyword, so...
The Alaris ones?
Yep.
The Forger ones too, or just the... Oh, they do.
Yep,
they
both.
do?
Yep.
Okay.
How many points are they?
Well, have fun doing that, Tom.
All of the points, because they're Custodes.
Yeah. Have fun playing with 20 models.
No,
in an auxiliary detachment, because you can't take any HQs. So you have 2 CPs.
I'm going to try and snag me some of them because I love the model, the Lernian Terminators for Alpha Legion, because it'll fit my...
You're just going to run them as the shooting ones?
I might. Yeah, I might actually run them as... I don't know. It just depends what I can kit bash them
See,
with.
now you guys are making me want to use the Salamander Terminators that I have. Because I still have enough to give them 10 to you, Danny, and have 20 of my own.
Jesus Christ.
What's wrong with you?
Right.
I like
salamanders.
I like salamanders.
I'm gonna do White Scars.
It's the same reason I had a Vulcan and I painted up the Vulcan and everything. I like salamanders. I always have. Salamanders are the only like good guys in 40K.
I'll probably end up doing like Raven Guard for deployment tricks or Black Templars if they just get insane abilities to get to combat.
Yeah, Black Templars. I don't know if they're getting their own book.
I hope they don't get their own book.
Bad news bears.
Black Templar players.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Weird hate.
Well,
no, I played against enough role-playing Black Templar players in 3rd edition when they had their own book.
We had one for a
so
while. And was it 4th edition or 5th edition at the store? I was working at the store at the time running the leagues, and we had a guy who just had this weird, crazy Black Templar list with like jump troops and like it was this janky stuff, and he was destroying everybody with it. And I took, it must have been early 5th because I had Lash of Submission and Obliterators and all this stuff. I'm like, screw it.
That's 5th,
I'm just going to take some crazy ass Lash of Submission and pull this guy's units into a circle. Then I'm going to plasma cannon this stupid unit to death and win this game because screw this guy. And he was also like, he was that guy. You know what I mean? Everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say he was that guy. And so I lashed all of his dudes to a perfect circle. First set of obliterators, all the plasmas overheat. Second shot of obliterators, because I had 2 squads of 3 obliterators. 2 of the 3 overheat. And then he proceeded to eat my army with his jump pack Black Templars. One of the worst experiences of my life.
Were you straight up not having?
I was straight up not having a good time. I was bro in the backwards hat with the sunglasses and a bro tank, straight up not having a good time. So yeah, I can agree with you, Adam. No Black Templar players.
No Black Templar players.
I'll do White Scars. It'll be fine.
Okay.
We'll see.
I can see that not being terrible, actually.
So are we going to go Space Marine only then?
No, you can do Chaos Marine.
No, do Chaos. Do whatever you want. Just Terminators.
And there has to be 20 Terminators in the list.
Right.
20.
My list would have 20 with Abaddon.
He doesn't count. It has to be 20 Terminators, non-characters.
No, 20 Terminators plus Abaddon.
Right, that's fine.
Same plus 7.
Right, I'm just saying none of us gets to be like, I have 19 and then plus this dude in the Terminator arm. No, like the 20 Terminators cannot be characters.
If I'm going to have Terminators, I kind of have to have Abaddon.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. If you're not running the Death Guard ones, and
Yeah.
I can't think
Then
of
I
any
can-
other faction that would have good Terminators besides
Death Guard.
you get Death Guard and Black Legion, right? And yeah, and the Black Legion ones aren't even that great. It's just that's what you're going
No,
to run.
well, they have that Bringers of Despair attachment, but I don't even know.
Watch
what
Salamanders get something that makes Terminators just fucking insane.
Then I'm playing Salamanders.
Or Imperial.
I'm
Fist.
playing fucking Salamanders. You don't get to fucking play Salamanders.
I just want I want Salamanders. I want Salamanders to have like a 1 CP strat that only works on Terminators. It's like they ignore AP -1 and 2.
I want it to be
Oh my gosh.
Salamander Terminators can arrive within 3 inches of an enemy unit and charge. They can deep strike within 3 and charge. That's what I want. I want to be able to deep strike 20 Thunderhammer Stormshield Terminators within 3 inches of my opponent and be like, get wrecked.
You know, up until this Iron Hands release, I would have said you were crazy. But,
Right?
you know,
Right? Like, I don't think this is outside the realm of possibility. I really don't. I think that this
At
is
this
totally
point,
within the
no.
realm of possibility. You could totally
Yeah, I'm looking
say
at
that.
All right.
I'm looking at
Just
the
since
Bringers
it's
of
already
Despair.
9:45 and I'm looking at the show notes and we're through part 1.
Fine.
I blame John.
Go to the judge question. Anyways,
Judge
we're
question.
doing a Terminator challenge. Next thing.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
20 Terminators. Doesn't matter where from. Non-character.
Sure.
I'm using a Storm Eagle. How do you handle? It's either that or a Charybdis. They're both the same price. How do you handle situations? So this is a judge question put down by one of our Patreon members. How do you handle situations where the player forgets a compulsory move or action?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this a lot because this actually came up a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And if the forgotten rule helps the player who forgot it, you card them.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
If the compulsory rule that was forgotten neither helps them, or if it doesn't help them, or it's neutral, you make them do it. So if they forgot an action, right, and
Right.
it's to their benefit that it's forgotten, they get carded and they're not allowed to do it. If they forgot and it's either worse for them or neutral, they must do it. And maybe still
Wait.
carded depending on what they forgot.
No, I get what he's saying. So, like for example, Mortarion's plague, that fart he does. That's
Or a
supposed to,
thingy.
that's supposed to
plague
be
fart.
at the start of the fight phase.
Yeah. If you
So
forget
let's
it,
say-
too bad.
Yeah.
You can't go back. You forgot it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree with that.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, if it was something benign,
And
like
you get a card.
yeah,
And you get a card as Mortarion.
That seems a little heavy-handed to me.
Remember your rules.
Sure, but like
Why would you card someone for forgetting something that benefits them? Wouldn't you card someone
Because
for
it-
forgetting something that...
No.
that
Okay,
is
so the
against
Mortarion one's
them?
actually a bad example for what I was saying. Sorry. That's actually a bad example. If
Well, the
forgetting
question is-
it and being able to
Right.
go back to do it later benefits them.
right.
So, like, let's say they.
So the fart thing's a good example. If he goes, well, you can do it, but you're going to get a card.
I guess no, but what I'm actually thinking is like, you forget to do. Oh man, I had a good example too before we started the show. It went out of my head. A must-do action. You must take a morale test, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If you forget to take the morale test, right, that benefits you to forget it.
Yes.
Right. You must go back and still take the morale test, and you get a card. Right?
Okay.
If you forget Mortarian's whatever, it doesn't benefit you to forget that move because, whether it happened at the beginning or not, as long as it's still the same unit being affected, it's the same number of models that are still affected. So you still, I would say, actually, you don't get to do that.
You don't get to do it at all.
You don't get to do it.
You benefit from it, and you forgot.
You benefit from it, and you forgot, so you don't get to do it. But if you benefit, it's like now it's...
If you benefit for forgetting, right?
Right, if you benefit for forgetting, then you don't get to do it. And you get a card.
Okay.
Right. That's what I was trying to say. Then this is a very convoluted issue, obviously.
Yeah. I would treat it as kind of a case by case because I never like rewinding game state.
Yeah. Case by case,
right?
For sure.
Like I really don't like doing that. So it's one thing if they're like, oh, the fight, they're still in the middle of the fight phase. Oh, I forgot to do Mortarion. I mean, and if a player's really like, no, I don't, you can't, and then like the judge gets called, I'll be like, yeah, no, even though we could tell where it is, like you forgot it, move on.
Yeah, and you can't like rewind the game state. You're right. Like you shouldn't do that.
But yeah, unless it's something like in general. I mean, the only time I do it is if it was like one of the examples that Jeff asked was someone who's a Dreadblade didn't roll their didn't do their Dreadblade test, and they did a bunch of shit and it was a very impactful game piece, and then it's like, well, that could have screwed them over, right? And so but even then it's like it becomes really difficult to tell the game state of like, well, what would have happened if this did, right? Like it becomes so much of a nuisance. That's where I would, I agree with the carding the player of being like, well, I
mean, look at it this way. If I don't roll on my chart thing for my Chaos Knights, right?
Right.
And suddenly I'm like at the shooting phase and I'm halfway through my shooting phase and I really need my next Gatling Avenger Cannon to be strength 7 instead of 6. Too bad.
Yep.
You forgot.
Yeah.
Because how do I know, and how does my opponent know, and how does the judge know that I would have chosen to just take the D3 wounds and pick, rather than roll on it and see, well, maybe I get to move 2 inches more, maybe I'm toughness 1 plus 1, maybe I'm not, because I don't really want to take D3 wounds, I'd rather just take 1. How can I possibly say, no, absolutely, I would have taken D3 wounds to get this one thing? It's now at the point where, oh, now that you're up against the wall, suddenly you want this thing.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like if, for example, Aaron J. Banks says chemicals, or Axis said chaplains. And those happen at very specific times, kind of like the Dreadblade thing. If you don't call it out, you don't get it. It's like it's kind of like forgetting your psychic phase. It's like, oh, I've been shooting through half my army, I forgot my psychic phase. Too bad.
Yes.
There are some though, I think, and this is more around what Danny was saying, where it can be case by case. Like, for example, forgetting morale. Now, if you forgot morale 3 turns ago, well, you can't really do too much about it. But if you are in the next turn and you're moving and you're like, oh, snap, I'm about to move this model, I need to take a morale test.
Yes, very, very different situations.
Yeah, and I've actually seen a lot of times, and it's actually like a very forgivable and understandable mistake where people don't it's like, oh yeah, no, it's like, oh, did you take a morale test on that? Oh no, I didn't. Oh, here, let me go do that. Okay, cool. Right. All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember the finals, certain someone did forget to take his morale test.
Oh, really?
What finals are you talking about?
The LVO finals. Alex quote unquote forgot to take his morale test for some of his guys. Brandon had to remind him. We had a bit of discussion about that for a little while.
I don't remember.
So
that.
we made him take the morale test. He failed the morale, and the unit was removed.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, which was the right decision.
Yeah.
You have to take your morale test, and forgetting it only benefits you.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Right. That is like the perfect example of what I'm trying to say. If the forgetting of the thing benefits you to forget it and then be like, "Oh, sorry, we're too far along and now I can't do that."
Yeah, that's what Alex
Right.
tried to pull. He tried to like continue the games so he could claim that we're too far into the game to like go
I
back.
don't know if he did that on purpose or not.
No,
But-
I've
but-
seen him. No, I've seen him do it.
Okay.
That's what he does.
Let's just assume the worst.
Sure, why
Let's
not?
not assume that's because that's what it is. I'm not assuming anything. That's what he does.
Well, there you go.
He's done it. He did it during the playoffs, during the semifinals.
Okay. I didn't see that, but whatever. Anyways,
See, we
that's the
found full
prime
circle
example of
because-
what I'm talking about.
Now the internet will always remember that. Full circle.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So, but that's an example of when
Yeah.
quote unquote forgetting is
Okay.
beneficial to you.
So that one's done. So let's go on to the Patreon questions.
Patreon questions. You too can be a Patreon by looking up TFG Radio at patreon.com.
Yeah, and then you get to be in our Patreon group.
Yeah. Or don't, and you still get to listen for free.
We're not going to guarantee you any coaching advice.
You don't want coaching
you won't,
advice
you won't
from
get
guys
you
that
don't,
do
you don't.
Terminator challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. You won't get any special episodes where we do the first part and then the second part that you really want to hear is behind the paywall. You won't get that.
Which, if you're smart enough, you just listen to the first part and you can kind of get what the second part's going to be anyway.
Right.
I mean, let's be kidding
Yeah.
ourselves.
There's not going to be any extra like articles behind the paywall like other sites are doing. So like the Patreon group is just for fun. If you want to support, great. If you don't, awesome. You're going to get the same content. But you will get to ask questions that we'll then ask on air. So what point value do you use Index or the new Codex for like the Contemptor missile launcher? And my answer, which I typed into the show notes, is burn your Index.
I would.
Well,
I
it's
would
the Forge
suggest,
World Index, though.
Burn it.
And not until
Burn
there's
it.
a new Forge World. The Forge World Index takes precedent.
Nobody
right?
uses
Like,
Forge World.
Okay. Mr. House Scorpius's.
No, I don't have Scorpius.
That's Tom.
But either way.
I got double Castigator and a Lancer.
Get it right, Dan.
Get the hypocrisy correct,
Anyway.
goddammit.
Forge World is a separate thing and always has been. It has its separate publications. You use those publications.
Fine.
Right?
Burn your
Until
non-Forge
GW
World
says
indexes.
otherwise.
Well, but in this case, because there's a Contemptor entry in the Codex
Right.
for the plastic one that was made for the Horus Heresy box set.
Right.
Mhm.
So there's a section for the Cyclone missile launcher or whatever it was.
Have
So do
access to that?
I don't even know. I don't know. I don't have the Codex. Danny, you have the Tom, you have.
I'm looking at it right now. I can bring it. So the Contemptor in the Codex only has the assault cannon and multi-melta. That's its only options.
Okay, is the point value different than what's in the Forge World Index?
Oh, now I gotta look that up. That's a whole
Yeah.
separate thing.
Personally, I think if there's a difference in the point value, you pay the point value in the most recent publication. Period. And like that should just be a line in GW like FAQ at the very top. General FAQ. If the point value between two options is different and you're legally allowed to take both, you pay the points value for the most recent version. Period. Done. Cut. Like I don't understand why that's not a thing. I just don't. I don't get why this is a problem.
You just don't get how business works, John. Very complex beast.
You won't understand until you do your recreations of the industrial era. Then you'll understand business.
Would I card someone for using the points from the Force World Index? Only if they legitimately should not have. I don't card people for my personal opinions.
Yeah,
I card people for like actual legitimate things they've done.
Yeah,
wrong.
if it's a hard and fast rule and one that
Yeah.
is in print, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
If
I
had-
only
if I
card
carded
people at LVO.
If I card people I don't like, there'd be a lot more cards going out.
Man, I should card
I
people
get a
on the
card every
street.
tournament.
I should card people for their stupid driving in the morning.
Just show them a yellow or red.
I should just carry that thing around with me and like hold the red up in the window, out the window as I drive by. Okay. Next question.
Next question. Since we're waiting for
You
Dan.
didn't really answer that. I'm looking at the point value. In the Imperial armor, the carries is not. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the carries is 25, and in the book it's 22.
So that's so which one would you use?
I mean, I guess you would have to use, since it's in the codex, you would have to use the codex, right? Like, if you're using the codex version.
Even though it's Forge World, I would assume it still falls under the chart.
It's in, but I mean, it's in the Contemptor specifically is in the
right, but it's the Contemptor that they sell.
Are the keywords the same?
I think so.
Yeah.
Is the Contemptor in the Codex and the Contemptor in the Forge World Codex?
No, because the
relic,
one
relic.
it's relic, right? So that's
right.
different.
So then it's not the same thing. So then he uses the points in the index.
Uses the Forge World. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But if they had both said, let's say they both said relic Contemptor,
then I would say that it's the most recent publication.
right?
Right, because that's what the
the
flowchart
relic
does.
Because it's the same.
The relic also has a lot more options. It's
Yes,
very
it
much
does.
a different.
Which is
data
what
share.
made me think that the keyword must be different.
Yeah, it's relic, Contemptor, Dreadnought, relic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
You go by whatever the data slate says.
Do we think the salamander leaks are legitimate? I say no.
I believe everything on the internet.
The only thing I think is legitimate is the Promethean discipline, the psychic powers that have been leaked. Just because somebody shared a super official looking image, and I don't believe in Photoshop.
You don't believe in Photoshop? Yeah, my wife has
Photoshop isn't real.
Not real.
I just think that you should operate under the assumption that everything is no until proven yes.
Yeah, I agree. It's easier that way.
That's always the best.
Yeah. Like nobody believed anything about Iron Hands until like they saw it in the stream, and everyone was like collective. What the fuck?
Well, not everyone. A certain somebody in this podcast stopped talking about how Space Marines were just going to be bad and die like Space Marines a long time before those things came out.
And somebody's faith in the Emperor was rewarded, and it was me.
Yes, I know.
It was.
I'm going just to go back to previous.
Reference.
In the Codex, it is just a Contemptor Dreadnought. It is not a relic.
Right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So they are different data slates. So you would literally have to disambiguate between the Contemptor and the relic.
Because
Contemptor.
it's totally different data slates.
Yes.
So get on that, Battlescribe.
Yikes.
So someone asked, what are players supposed to specify on the army list?
What your army is.
In terms of who the warlord is, warlord trait, relics, things like that.
You have to have the warlord. You don't need to have the trait. You do not need to have the free relic.
For ITC.
That's what I'm talking about. It's not even for ITC. It's literally in the freaking rulebook.
Some TOs.
When mustering your army.
I'm
It's
not arguing
in
that. What I'm
the
saying-
rulebook. I have pointed it out multiple times on the internet. It's in the freaking rulebook. It says when mustering your army, and then it tells you what you need to do, and it does not say you just list your warlord.
And your detachment.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
you
specialist detachments.
Yes.
Specialist detachment.
Yes.
You do not have to list free relic. You do not have to list trait. Those are
If
picked
you're playing-
each game.
If you're playing straight ITC, that is what you need to designate.
If you're playing the game by the rules that are written in the rulebook,
And
that's what you have to
alright.
do.
I feel like someone just needs to say Council of Nicaea in order to really piss John off at this point. I don't know why I have that hunch.
Because there are TOs
no, Magnus did
and
a lot wrong.
organized. There are TOs and organizers out there that require you to list relics, any extra relics purchased, things like that.
There are
So-
TOs out there that are wrong. Yes, got it.
That I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that's what's out there.
I love that name. His name is Twitch Village Idiot. And he says, disclaimer, read the player packet. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is what the yes. So
Of the event you're going to.
of the events you're going to, most FLG events, BAO, SoCal Open, Las Vegas Open.
So
You just
all
to
the
bring-
good ones?
all the ones that you need to care about. You just need to designate your warlord and your specialist detachment if you're using one.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I have to look it up, but I'm not 100% sure about field commanders. I have to double check.
My hunch is you do.
Yeah, I see a lot of people do it, but
I'd have to double check.
Mm-hmm.
I'd ask John, but he's just going to yell at me. So.
Yes, this is true. I will yell at you. How to play against Iron Hands? Should we actually be more scared of Raven Guard? My answer to this was, how do you do it? You lose to both. Yeah? Agreed? Cool. Awesome.
I think you need to be more afraid of Iron Hands, but
you're going to see a lot more Iron Hands.
Yeah.
If you have a really good Raven Guard player across the table from you, you're also need to be concerned. But if you have a crappy Raven Guard player across the table from you, I would be more concerned about a crappy Iron Hands player than a crappy Raven Guard player.
Yeah.
So I'm not concerned about my brother.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, I have an answer to the field commander question.
Oh, sure. Go ahead, Dan.
You do not. Because it specifically says use this stratagem before the battle if you use any specialist detachment stratagems when choosing your army.
Okay.
Choosing your army is a different step than before the battle.
Right. Okay.
Right. So
it's the you're at home making your list step.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can choose not to field commander. That is not something you have to write down.
Good to know.
When it says when choosing your army or when mustering your army.
Mustering your army.
Those are the things that you have to do on your list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Before the battle begins is no, because that's all variable, random,
right,
et cetera, et cetera.
It's literally got to say when building or when mustering. Those are the words that they've used.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Axis Entropy's asking about how about successor chapters of tactics.
Oh.
So I'll answer that.
I'm taking a 40K vacation until the Space Marines are over.
Salamander.
Until Salamanders come out. Me and John are playing Salamanders.
What's worse is you said Salamanders and then corrected yourselves to Space Marine,
because
as in Space Marines are Salamanders.
Well, they're the only ones worth caring about. They always have been.
No, they're the only ones that care about anything of worth.
Right, which is why they're the only good ones.
Took them backwards.
The only good ones.
No. So I was looking at the successor chapter tactics, and there are some good ones. I feel like the bolt range, the ranged one, or the duelists.
No, he's asking about how about successor chapter tactics isn't like on the list, right?
Oh yeah, you have to list that.
Yeah, because that's when
he asked that question when we were discussing that, so I'm assuming it's in relation to that. Axis,
you're right.
You correct us if we're wrong. Are you asking about our opinion on successor chapter tactics, or are you asking us if they need to be on your list?
They absolutely do need to be on your list.
Okay.
Wait, I think he wants both because he just said he ain't wrong.
Yeah, I don't understand. What do you want? I feel like I'm in the Notebook. Just tell me what you want. What do you want?
Oh my god.
Hey, that's an iconic scene, and you can suck it.
Iconic doesn't mean good.
I didn't say good. I said iconic. He said he was asking about list writing.
Yeah.
It needs to.
Yeah, that needs to be listed.
Yeah.
Because because think of it this way: you can't go to a tournament and be like, okay, I'm playing Space Marine. Game 1, I'm Ultramarine.
Yeah.
Game 2, I'm Iron
I'm
Hands,
the successor,
right?
and then I'm White Scar successor later. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have to. It's part of when you're literally building your detachments. You have to declare what keywords all the models have. Right.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, Master Artisan and Stealthy does seem to be like a good wombo combo.
Yeah, I really like Duelists and either Born Heroes or Hungry for Battle, because like Duelist just makes if you're running heavy Primaris, like Duelist just turns up things like Concursors to 11, where you can, once you play the strap, whatever, Transhuman Rage or whatever it is, where every hit roll of a 6 is a mortal wound, right? And then you start stacking abilities that let you get extra hits on the roll of a 6. Then all of a sudden you're just like doing just massive damage.
Yep.
So that's, I think, if you want any kind of melee armor, it's a good way to go.
Yeah. I agree.
Especially if you want to use the Primaris, because like even just fucking intercessors, like a 10-man squad of intercessors, they get into close combat and they have duelists and then you pop transhuman rage on them, and you don't even need a chaplain. But now every 6 you roll is an extra hit and is actually an extra hit and 2 mortal wounds. Like, it's insane, especially because in the first turn of combat they've got 3 attacks each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Space Marines are crazy. They're going to be really, really good for a while. So, hey, you said we were like needed to wrap up real fast, and I think we did in like 14 minutes, Danny.
Yeah.
I didn't say we needed to. I'm just saying we should.
Look at you cracking the whip, slave driver.
Things. Oh, well, I'm just trying to. I'm trying to make sure that people
How
get.
How dare you culturally appropriate the
work.
job of the white guys on this
No,
podcast?
I am going to go out and say that I do not represent anything that John said.
Is cultural appropriation not something that can happen the other direction?
I feel like it's that like moment in South Park where Cartman's like, "May God strike me down," and Butters is like, and he just like slowly shies away from.
I'm fairly certain that if Tom is Butters, I am definitely Cartman.
yes, I think we've all known this.
Yes, I think that's.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go with the South Park characters, I am definitely Cartman. Jackson is definitely Tally.
Jackson's Tally. Danny would be Craig because he just doesn't care.
Yes.
And then Adam's Token.
No. Adam is Randy.
I cannot believe it.
No.
Yes.
Not.
Yeah, Adam is Randy because Adam derps around playing WoW.
Yes, I can totally be Randy.
Okay, he's Randy from one episode.
That's fine. He's Randy.
Is the one with the big balls?
Adam is also the guy who would get in a fight at like a sporting contest of kids. Listen, I'm telling you, I've actually thought about this. Adam is Randy. I did not bring. I've been waiting to talk about this. Adam is definitely Randy. I am Cartman. Tom is absolutely Butters. Jackson is Tally. And I could not figure out Danny, and you got it, Tom. You're good.
That's funny.
I don't know.
Randy.
Yeah.
I'm at my computer with jizz all over the place.
Again, see, there's another one. There's another one that he totally fits.
Oh God.
It's called.
Now I just want to see Adam get.
Cultural.
I just want to see Adam get drunk and be like, I thought this was
I thought this was America. I thought this was America.
So, for those that don't know, I'm a part of the 40K, the Comp 40K mods, and there was a question about one of the posts, and I was just like, "Did you just delete it and tell them this is America?"
Yes. I beg Reese to let me answer people in meme form, but I'm not allowed to.
No,
Really?
for good reasons.
Hey, what?
Because FLG needs to have like a modicum of like respect the people it deals with as an organization that makes money off of their participation.
Really?
So Frontline Gaming recently put out that they wanted a bunch of writers, right? Like I think a lot of people know that, and I'm pretty sure if I had to apply today, I would totally not get in.
Oh, I know. I already know I wouldn't get in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but we
comfortable
would
with my
not get
vote.
in for different reasons.
It helps us start on the ground floor.
It
Yes,
really does.
Very
Yes.
much so.
Yes.
So you can institutionalize your abuse.
Speaking of Iron Hands, though, if people are really worried, if your army has access to Haywire is not bad, and if you can dish out mortal wounds in any form, you're okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like what Iron Hands doesn't like is lots of mortal wounds. And they don't like a lot of attacks that can actually successfully wound them, because they can have all the -1 damage and I can half damage. It doesn't matter if you suddenly took 30 damage 1 attacks, right? Like that starts sneaking through.
Yeah.
So like that's really what it comes down to. And besides, like, it depends how they build their list. A lot of Iron Hand players are probably going to go for sheer kill and just have a lot of really heavy hitters. But if they don't have anything that can shoot out of LOS or something that can fall back and shoot, you just hide until you can get out there and start turning them off, and you just you win a low scoring game, but you win.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm betting we're gonna see a lot of dreadnought marching lists, just like a lot of them.
Yeah, there's Goat Boy just put a article on Bell Lost Souls about that, actually. The Iron Hands Dreadnought list.
Which I don't think is. I don't know. I don't
That tech
like
is
that
out in the open.
Well, it's not just
It's
that.
been
It's out in the
known.
open. Yeah, it's just dreadnoughts. All you have to do is touch them, right, and not die, and now they're worthless.
Yeah.
Right. So, you can have a freaking army of scouts ahead of them, but if they just shred the scouts and they're like, cool, well, I charge, and okay, you don't shoot me anymore. I'm just gonna stay here forever.
Axis said the same thing. You can tag dreads. He's absolutely right. Yeah.
Repulsors are way scarier because
I
they
agree.
just fall back and shoot the shit out of you,
or just sit in a freaking corner and destroy you. Like, for the most part, right?
But the thing is, they're mobile, right? Like you can move forward. Again,
and if you go to certain tournaments, you're allowed to just put them on top of the freaking like ruins.
Yeah,
because why not? Because hey, it fits, as in like it balances, which is not the definition of the word fit.
I don't think we have enough time to go there, John.
We're not going to go there. I'm just saying.
But repulsors are scarier. Scorpiuses are scarier, right? Because
as someone who runs Scorpiuses, you should run Scorpiuses.
Yeah, because they're just so. I mean, with -1 damage, they're just so, and a 5++, they're really hard to snipe out, and they're gonna you can castle up with them, and have other things that go, and we need the objective game. And it's going to be so much harder to go and tag them if they're hiding in a corner and just sending bombs. Even flyers. I mean, flyers I think is a really good Iron Hands build just because you can castle up in the beginning. So if you don't get first turn, you don't have to worry so much about the Alpha Strike. They ignore the move and fire heavy. So now you're firing at full BS no matter how far you're moving. And you get the 6-up feel no pain and you get the strats. Yeah. And so, you don't sit in your castle the whole game, which is probably better.
Yeah, you don't really want to sit in your castle.
Yeah, because I mean, that's the thing about Elder Flyer spam. It's like against some lists, they just suck when they go second because it's like, cool, I'm going to lose half my turn one. Awesome. And now my hitting power is nowhere near what I need to win. But with Iron Hands, you can be like, cool, I go second. Great, you're probably killing up lane if you're lucky. Right.
True.
So Tom, you're staying with Ultramarines, not going to go Iron Hands?
No, because I like Ultramarines because the way they're designed is to be flexible, and I'm done playing armies that pigeonhole themselves into one style or one mode of being.
Tau
of winning.
Tau or Custodes. Like seriously, and so I don't know. I like the idea of being able to pivot, and in some of the games I've won, it's been because I can pivot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. I think that's it for tonight.
Don says he's going to Imperial Fist us all. I'll take that as a threat and report you to Twitch, sir. Thank you.
Take that as a domestic threat.
I take that as, I mean, come on, man. At least it'll apply a little bit of this.
We'll see what I mean, we saw the new character for this and Salamanders, which are the last two books.
I'm a little pissed that Vulcan Histon isn't getting the Primaris treatment, which makes me think that they're probably going to kill him off, which is kind of stupid because that's a position, not a person. So like,
unless he's replaced with
do the freaking sculpt. Just do the sculpt. I mean, they take the name Vulcan. They take the name Vulcan when they're like that.
Right. I know what Tom's saying. The OG comes back.
Psychic Awakening, man.
And so he needs his little cloak back and his gauntlet.
Yeah, he needs his stuff back.
Even though he never wore the gauntlet, did he? I'm trying to think of my. Yeah, I think he did have the gauntlet. Yeah, he wore the cloak and the gauntlet.
If Numenor had to die in order to bring Vulcan back, they're gonna kill Mini Vulcan to bring back Vulcan.
Yeah, well, but Vulcan didn't use the spear. Like I've always wondered about the spear, because like Vulcan doesn't use it; he uses a hammer. So did he did he take the hammer with him when he disappeared? Yeah. He must have, right, and just left the other artifacts behind. Like he didn't need his cloak, but he
has
wanted his hammer.
Hammers. He used a different.
No, because
it's the shaft of his hammer.
Yes, the shaft is the same. Oh, the spear's from the shaft.
Yeah, the spear's just the shaft of the hammer. He comes back and puts the hammer head on and be like, oh, okay, now it's complete.
Are you sure?
No, I'm just joking, man.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm not sure about that part of the fluff.
I'm not the global one this time.
Right. Yes, you weren't the sea lion this time. Or the victim. He has two hammers, right? But he only takes the one with him to Terra. when he goes through the web of
Right.
portals, because I think the other one is gone. I don't think he has Dawnbringer when he crashes through the atmosphere of McCrag. Right, he crashes through the atmosphere of McCrag and then wakes up as like this, like just I want to kill Kurz and I have no other like brain function guy. I don't think he has it with him. He uses it to teleport himself out of Kurz's ship. Right?
No, he does. I remember he does have it with him throughout the Heresy. The time you don't see him with it is during Rise of the Beast. That's when he has the other hammer, and people are even like,
because he
who
gave
remember-
Dawnbringer to Horus. He has the two hammers because he made one for Horus.
I can't remember.
Horus has the mace.
Right, but he made a hammer for Horus.
But he never ended up giving it.
He
to him,
didn't
I
give it
thought.
to him. Okay, but then
was a
there's the
gift
hammer
originally.
on Kurz's ship that he picks up and teleports himself off Kurz's ship. That's how he escapes Kurz.
That's his main hammer.
Right, but when
Then he has a different hammer in Rise of the Beast.
right,
Those are
but that one teleports him to like the edge of the sun around McCrag, and then he falls through McCrag's orbit. Right, and when he falls through, he doesn't have the hammer with him.
No, he does. I remember he does.
Does he have it in? Okay,
99% sure he does have that hammer.
that's Unremembered Empire, right?
Yeah. The the only thing from the Beast one is when they actually mentioned the other hammer, and it was funny. I was, wait, that's not his regular hammer.
Right.
And then someone who was like an older space marine, yo, dog, that's not Vulcan's original hammer. Like, I read my lore, yo, and it's like, oh, cool. Like they actually specifically created another hammer for that storyline, and I don't know.
Right,
what
he
happened.
gave the hammer to one of the salamanders to do something with. I don't remember what. I should reread that one. Okay.
Go forth and not suck.
Yes. Anyways,
What?
I'm
I
not-
fell asleep. Are we done yet?
you know what? There are some people who are going to appreciate that, Adam.
I just like talking about the lore, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm here.
There are some people.
Whatever. I'm listening to the Angron right now. So.
Whatever.
Slave of Nuceria.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
So that's it for tonight. Thank you everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, Danny, John, especially for being with us. Put yourself away
Especially
from
John.
your reenactment.
Especially me, because the stream doesn't fucking have without me.
It does,
Um,
but it's just
It
not
did. It was
as
called
meme worthy,
Europe.
Yeah, and that was a terrible show, just so everybody knows.
according to one.
But except you don't watch them, John. So how would you know?
No, but I live commented on that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for everybody. Thank you very much. Have a good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Laters.
Why?
Stop building Space Marines.